We're on.
I'm always ready. No, I'm not always ready. Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone. This is ACDC. It's Araceli and Colette, the dynamic change. And we're here to talk to you a little bit about real estate investing and finances. Um, I'm Araceli. I'm a transition wealth advisor. I'm also a real estate investor. And that's one of the reasons that I like my partner, Colette. Colette, can you tell us who you are?
Okay, Araceli's the calm one, and she's so sweet and she's so soft-spoken, and that's why we get along so well. I'm a little bit louder. My name is Colette Rabha. I am the residential real estate broker of the group of the two of us. But I'm very happy to be here today, as always, and happy to share information, and that's what we're here for. ACDC stands for Araceli and Colette.
Dynamic change.
Yay! So
Yeah.
we really want to help people buy real estate, sell real estate, know more about real estate, know more about their finances, and getting them ready to buy real estate. So that's why we like to pair together, so we can help you on both ends.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about today?
So today we're going to be talking about something that sometimes we forget. So we are in Canada, one of the best places to live and also to invest in real estate. So this chat is meant for people that want to buy in Canada, that they are outside of Canada. So Colette has prepared a presentation because there's a lot of questions about how to buy, what do I need, et cetera, et cetera. So she is going to tell you more about it. This is a really great presentation.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. And
yep,
just
go
so
ahead.
You all know that, you know, it's really, you know, I don't want to scare anybody, but there's lots of things to know about buying in Canada before you buy. And I don't want to, you know, make this very specific to one country. So this is a across the board general statement for all foreign investors. If you do not live in Canada, these are some of the things that you have to do. So this is something that quite a few people have asked me. You know, I have relatives or I have friends in another country, and I'd like to, and they're interested in even just investing in buying, not even necessarily living full time in Canada, because then you have to get your citizenship and all that stuff. So sometimes it's not that easy. And the one thing that we have to remember is buying real estate in Ontario specifically, or in Canada, does not mean you're going to get your papers to come to Canada any faster or any easier. So that's one thing that I have to say out front. People think, oh, okay, if I buy in Canada, you know, they'll expedite the process for me to come to Canada, but not really. And now with COVID, you know, we make no promises as to how, you know, moving forward, how you're going to even get here. So that's the tricky thing. Yeah. So let's just start from, and this is very basic information. You can always call me. You can always ask me questions later. You can always leave comments below. Reach out anytime. And if you need more information, we have great mortgage agents that we can put you through to.
That's correct.
And lawyers and all those other people too that are part of my team, part of Araceli's team, to help you actually get here and to actually buy property.
Yeah. So one of the things I just want to say to people is that be prepared. Do a lot of research before you decide to buy, to decide in what area you're going to buy. Right. What is the purpose if you are going to be coming later on?
Right.
So obviously, you know, the purpose will be different, but try to get all that arranged beforehand. And if you don't know what it is, give us a call and talk to us.
Right.
That's what we're here for.
Yes. And if you're not sure about the money, talk to Araceli first so she can find you the money. Yeah. And that way you can start your process of buying in Ontario. Okay. So in this presentation, I'll try and go really quick. So who am I? You guys pretty much know who I am. I will go through that. Why invest in Canadian real estate, the risks involved, how much money you'll need, what you need to do now to get ready, next steps, and how I, you know, how it would work with me, because I know in other countries, buying real estate is a little bit different. So, and this is all an adventure. So we really like to work with people that have, you know, the same kind of goals. And as I do, I want to get you in a great place. I want to get you the best price, the best conditions. So just quickly, I am a full-time real estate broker. I service the GTA, which is the Greater Toronto Area. You might hear GTA a lot, so we use some speak sometimes. So GTA is not just Toronto, but the Greater Toronto Area, which is outside of main Toronto as well. I've been in business for over 8 years now and have been buying and selling real estate for my own deals, for my friends, for my family for over 20 years. I also have a background in renovation, new builds, and interiors. So when I look at a house, I'm really looking at the bones and I know what I'm looking at. And I have a business background, so negotiating is like exciting for me. So I love to do that. So that's one of the little things. And, you know, my clients are priority one. If I don't think it's a good deal, I will tell you. If it's a great deal, I'll tell you. I'm very honest. So why invest in Canada? Because of Drake, of course, and Justin Bieber and Celine Dion. So I wanted to make this.
Yeah.
But honestly, immigration is very strong in Canada and it's not about to slow down. So we always have demand for real estate. It's always on the rise and it's not showing any signs of slowing down. Outside of the GTA, the growth is very healthy now because of COVID. People are trying to leave. And because of the prices are crazy. So, and prices continue to climb. We don't guarantee it, but there's always historically healthy returns when you have a property between 7 to 10 years or more or longer. If you sell it faster, that's tricky to say you will get a return. Mortgage rates are really low right now. Canadian dollar is lower than the US dollar. The nature that we have in Canada, this is why so many people come into Canada, because of the clean air, the water that we have, the fresh resources of water, the trees, and it's a lovely, lovely place to live. And of course, the hockey, if you're a hockey fan or a basketball fan or Justin Bieber fan, we got it all. So how much money will you need? So this is something that, let's get down to business and really talk about this. So you have to qualify for a Canadian mortgage unless you have the cash. So right now, the average home in the GTA, a free detached home on a piece of land, not a condo, is around $1 million. So you really should think about how much money you have or how much you want to spend. $10,000 is not going to cut it. $20,000 is not going to cut it, even though you might think it's a lot of money. I'd rather you take that money, talk to Araceli, see where she would put it to grow your money so you can buy a house maybe in 10 years or so. Do you want to add anything to that?
Well, this is one of the things that I think that a lot of, especially Canadians, have lost perspective buying property. I'm telling you, in 2014, I bought my investment property with $11,000.
Don't go back in time. We have to go forward in time.
But that is what I'm trying to tell you is this, that we are stuck in time. And we think that if we have 20,000 or 30,000, it would be enough to buy a property. It's not anymore.
It's
like
not.
Things change so much.
Maybe in the States. So talk to Araceli if you want to.
Yeah, that's a different story.
Yes, if you have that kind of money and you think you want to buy something in the US, then Araceli is a good person.
That would be a different story. But since 2016 in Canada, we have seen a tremendous growth in the property prices.
Right.
So what happens is that now, and also a lot of restrictions in the mortgage area. So it is harder to qualify and you need more money to get in the market. So that is one of the things that you need. I think we all have to adjust to it. To say, oh, now I need
it's all about
a lot more money.
Doing the research, talking to, so these are the things that you really have to, think about before you even go shopping, hey, let's go look for a house. I'm not even going to pick up the phone until you can tell me, you can answer these questions. How much do you qualify for a Canadian mortgage? How much do you so there's a pre-qualifying and pre-approval. They're a little bit different. So that's something that to talk to a mortgage broker about. How much cash money do you have for down payment? That's got to be down payment cash money. Closing costs. How much are your carrying costs? So let's say you're not going to move in, and let's say you're not going to get a renter for months. These are carrying costs, like your monthly expenses, like heat and hydro. You have to figure out to cover that nut.
Property taxes too.
Right. Each lender may ask for different documents and statements. These are the things that you have to prepare for before you even go shopping. So you need a Canadian bank account. These are very, very general, you know, statements here. Tax returns. You need to know what foreign buyer's tax of 15% on top of this price of a purchase price. So there's some exemptions for that foreign buyer's tax, but you know what? This is all general information for you. It sounds scary. Of course, it's a lot of money, but it's possible. I think it's possible. Everything is possible, right? I'm very positive that way. And then to qualify for a mortgage in Canada, you need a letter of employment, even in your country, pay stubs to prove how much you've earned. And that way they will qualify you based on that for a mortgage amount. You need 3 or more years of tax returns as proof of income. You should open a Canadian bank account in one of the 5 big banks. If you don't know TD, CIBC, you can research all that stuff. If you have a relative in Canada that can help you with the process, that's actually very, very good. It's not mandatory, but it can help. There's some other possible questions from lenders. Have you had employment in Canada? Are you a student? What's the foreign company? Is it a bigger company? Are you self-employed? You know, there are all these things because of fraud. There's so much fraud, especially with a big purchase like real estate. We have to cover our bases. We have to cross all our T's. We have very, very many forms as a real estate agent to prove that there is no fraud, that you are not, you know, a terrorist. There are all sorts of crazy questions too that they ask us, and we have to prove it. So this is why a lot of this stuff has to be, all this due diligence has to be done before we even make an offer on a property. I know it's very fun, and that's the exciting part about it, but all that stuff has to be done before. So, and there are risks involved and costs involved on top of that. So you really have to think about, if you don't qualify for an A lender, which is the big bank, there are other costs involved. You might have to pay a mortgage broker on top of that. You should calculate a 2% closing costs on top of your purchase price. The foreign investors have to put, so these are Canadian laws. I don't make them up. Don't get mad at me. The government says you have to put at least 30% down, and sometimes up to half the purchase price up front. So can you afford that? And then again, what we were talking about before, buying a property does not help you get immigration into Canada. That's a whole other process. You'll have to get property insurance on the property for things like theft and fire or accidents. You should hire a property manager if you are thinking of renting the property. And that is, you know, to check on the property if it's vacant, making sure that they're raising the rent and collecting the rent, and it's going into the right places to pay your fees and your taxes and your utilities. Even just the guidance with the landlord and tenant law. Landlord and tenant law in Ontario is very tricky, and it's geared to the tenant. It's hard to get tenants out if they're not good tenants. And then just to hire tradespeople if something goes wrong, someone to write a lease. So this is a very big portion of it if you want to rent the property out when you're not there, or if you have no desire to come and be there. This is something that you know, you just want to build the equity in the house by holding on to it. You want to rent the property out. So some areas in condos also don't allow short-term accommodations like Airbnb. So those are all these things that you have to think about: what area you want to buy in, how much you want to spend, getting a good property manager before you even decide on the whole process. And if you're interested in land, this is the most important thing. No mortgage on land. You have to get 100% in cash to pay for it. So your homework, you have to acquire pre-approval by a mortgage broker or pre-qualification before working with any real estate broker. You should create a wish list of what you'd really like to buy, what areas you'd like to buy, how much money, if it's a condo, if it's a freehold, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms. Maybe you want a cottage property. That's hot right now. It's really great because people are wanting, because it's COVID and people are not able to leave the country. They want to vacation somewhere. So this is a very good option for lots of people. If you're buying a rental property, you should interview property managers to troubleshoot and to be a connector for trades and plumbers. We talked about that. Again, saying the same thing about Landlord and Tenant Act and laws. In some areas, really, you really have to be careful about the short-term accommodation and know that. And that's something that I do. That's the research that I do before you buy something. So what's it like working with me? So once
no.
Oh, what?
No, you don't want to work with Colette. No. It's
Oh,
the
you're so mean.
No, I was just saying, how's it working with you? It's a lot. It's actually a lot of fun. So
Yeah. I try and make it fun. Well, and this is the thing too, like when you are not present here and I have to, I have my phone, I have my tablet, I can go, the pictures on MLS are beautiful. A lot of the times they can be misleading, but they don't show you everything. So I will show you the corners. I will show you, the junk in the garage. I'll show you, the broken ceiling or the things that I think are easy fixes or things that are not that easy to fix. And then that way you'll get a true feeling of the house. And yeah, of course, sometimes we do fun things too. But these are all the things that I always give my full and honest advice. I have like I said before, lawyers, if you have trades, if you have property managers, if you need any of those, home inspector, I have great people that I work with and I really trust, and they will explain to you and talk to you in plain English that you understand if this is a good purchase or not. So how I work too, a lot of people don't know how it works in real estate. So the other thing too is you have to pick one realtor to work with. I know there's some people who come into Canada and think, okay, I'll work with everybody. I'll tell like 4 or 5 realtors and they're all going to look for me. And then whoever finds something, that's the best way. Because I know in other countries, they don't have an MLS process. They don't have an MLS to go online, and anybody can go on MLS and look at it. And MLS stands for Multiple Listing Service, which is you just go to it. It's called realtor.ca, and you can click on it and there's a map, and then you can, pinpoint, and you can say what price you want, and you can, even if you don't want me to see things, if you just want to go shopping like that, then you can say to me, I have lots of clients say to me, can you look at MLS number so-and-so? Or they send me the address and then I'll look at it and they go, what do you think of this property? And it's all on computer now. Like this is pretty much until there is a house that, yes, it hits your criteria. Then we go out and say, and physically see it because of COVID. And now who knows if, a second lockdown is coming or whatever that is. But until then, we have to say, yes, we can go see the property. Yes, we keep, we have masks on, gloves on, we go through the house. I can take my phone. I can even be live on my phone and recording the walkthrough with you. And that's really exciting because that's when you really see the bones of a house and you see the location. We go outside and we look at the neighbors, and sometimes the neighbors will come and talk to us. So this is the fun part. But to get to that fun part, you need to do lots of the work. And then my fees too. So usually when you have a listing, you'll see it 5% of the purchase price goes to the realtors. So that means half would go to the listing agent and half would go to the buying agent, which is me in this case. And then that way we split it 50-50 plus HST. That comes out of the sale price. So actually the sellers, so when you really look at it from that perspective, the sellers pay the commission. So for buying, it's actually, my fees are free. It comes out of the seller's end of it. So they have a purchase price, it's this much money, they have to pay both realtors out of it. So it's actually very good for you to work directly with your own agent. And that way you'll feel you can also go directly to the listing agent, but why would you do that when they're already working with the sellers? Like this is the thing that makes me crazy sometimes, thinking that a buyer will get the information and the best price they can from the same agent. It's like working with one lawyer on both sides when you're in court. Who does that? Why would you think that the representation is fair on both sides?
yeah.
Anyway, that's a whole story.
One of the things that I just wanted to add, when you are a buyer, please take advantage that the fees are not coming out of your pocket and hire a broker to work with you, because you have a ton of advantages by doing that.
Yeah.
Because especially if you work with Colette, she has a background in not only buying picking a location, but actually looking at the house and possible things that could go wrong, and even before, and especially if she knows what use you're looking for. You're going to be renting a portion of the house. If you maybe want to convert it, would it be worth it to do it? All of that, it's an immense value that you get. So I don't see why buyers wouldn't hire a real estate agent to do that.
Because they think that they can knock off commission price.
Wow.
So when you look at the value of saying, I can knock off, whatever, a quarter of the commission or something. So whatever that's going to amount to, let's say $5,000 or $10,000, it's my job to save that for you up front. I know it sounds crazy to think, okay, like I'm negotiating for you. And if I can get you a better deal, I will. But also at the same time, I'm offering you so much value with conditions. If you need to have a condition put in, so let's say for a pool and it's the winter, you have to trust your agent that they put that in to say, I want the pool, you pay for the pool in the spring and you open it, even though we've closed already in the winter. Mm-hmm. We want you to guarantee that the pool is going to be okay in the spring. And if there's any issues, we're going to hold back some money. There's so many different levels and so many different clauses that we can add into a really good offer. But it's also to those agents that don't know what to write those things. And I don't expect my clients to know all that stuff. That is my job, to put those clauses in to keep you safe. Let's say there's other issues with an easement. Maybe you don't even know what an easement is. These are all these things that to keep you safe. I know it's lingo and, could be a little bit difficult to understand, but these are all the things that, it's a long story that I go through with all my clients. There's maybe about 11 forms that we fill out. That takes time to explain it. So, you're signing it. You're not going to sign something that you don't know how to understand it. If you need a translator that is beside you to go through these papers, that's fine. We will figure it out together. But I don't want you to feel one moment of hesitation when it comes to buying something, because things move very, very quickly in Canada right now with buying. There are multiple offers. There are crazy, strange prices. So just the other day, I have a client who's not a foreign investor, but a Canadian client that she wants to move with her. She wants to buy a house for her family from a condo. The list price is $800,000. They held off offers because they wanted multiple offers. So the highest and best price, and everybody gets excited. It's like an auction.
Yeah.
So what happens? No offers, 0 offers. She got excited. She thinks she can actually get the house for $800,000 now, even though she knows all the houses in that neighborhood are going for around $1 million. It's all perception.
Yeah.
It's so difficult to understand why these agents do crazy stuff like this, but this is the culture here, and it's very hard for someone to not know the culture when you're coming from a different country. You can't expect me to know how to buy in your country because the culture is very different and how we all negotiate is very different. So long story short, what happens? I call the brokerage the next day to say, hi, I would like to go see the house again. I heard there's no other offers. May I go make an appointment to see the house? They said, yes, of course. I hang up. I get a call back in about an hour later saying, there's no more showings. The house is sold. Oh my gosh. Okay, what happened?
Yeah.
I don't know. So sure enough, I hold off for about a day or two. I go back, I check the listing to see what happened. It sold for $950,000.
Wow.
How does that happen?
So how did it come? Like you said that they didn't have any offers.
They didn't have any offers, but that next day, so exactly like my clients where they said, hey, we're watching. We don't see any offers on it. Let's jump in and try and make an offer. So of course my client calls me. She says, how is that possible? There's 0 offers at 800 and now it's sold for 950. I said, because generally speaking, we don't know who else is watching. We're all watching it. There could be 500 people watching it. We don't know. You know, the properties in that neighborhood go for around $1 million. That list price was fake, or like an incentive for people to make offers on the property. We all know this is a trick that people do when you live here. This is the culture right now. These are buyers that know their house is valuable, but they're tricking people into a false sense that they can, you know,
for cheaper.
Yeah, but they can generate this excitement by saying, look, you know, oh, we're only putting this house up for 800,000, make an offer. But people who really know what they're doing know that the house will go for somewhere in the $1 million mark. And this is exactly what happened. There's also something that I do that I don't share with anybody except for my clients. When we know that there are, I have a system. If we go to win the multiple offer situation, you have to have the proper amount of money. You have to be ready to jump when they say jump. And you have to know, this is negotiating 101. What do you want? What does the other party want? Same thing with the listing. If I have a listing, if it's a buyer's market and I have a property that I have to get rid of, how do I make it desirable for the other party to even make an offer? This is what we do. This is what we get paid for. We don't get paid for, you know, the writing the papers together, putting the papers together. This is what we get paid for. It might be 2.5% is a lot of money on $1 million, but we keep you safe. Whoever I'm working with, either the buyer end or the seller, I keep you safe, and I always want my clients, I tell my clients, I always want you to have the upper hand throughout I never want you to feel like you're not getting what you want. So that's what you're paying for when you pay a commission like that, because it's so many little different things that could happen during the time. And the fun part of shopping in a house, that's very fun. I love to do it, but I'm like a mama bear. I want to keep you safe. so that's just something that's what I get excited about. That's what really energizes me. When I feel good, you're getting a good deal, even though the house might be expensive. I don't want you to overpay. The way I talk is, if it were me, this is the scenario that I would do. This is what I would do. It's like playing chess. We play chess differently, right? But who is going to say, well, I want you to win at the same time. Let's just go for a tie. No.
Yeah, you can't in this case, right?
Yeah. So something like this, sometimes you have to give a little bit to get a little bit. And in the end, if you win, that's what my goal is. That's what I really want to do.
Now, I think I kind of understand now what is happening, because I remember that I was looking at a property, and I was just driving by, and I saw it, and I said, I'm going to call the agent to find out what it costs.
Yeah.
So I says, well, it's listed for 1 million, but I can tell you right now that the owner will not take less than 1.2. And I'm thinking, well, if that's what he wants, why does he list it for 1.2 million?
If we can only just be honest with
exactly.
Yeah. But this is the funny thing too. Okay. So in that scenario too, sometimes, so we don't set it. So let's say for a listing price, we don't set the price. It's the actual seller that is putting the price in. Mm-hmm. And when they say, okay, this is the price that I want, it might be unrealistic. So we as agents have to either, be quiet, and then maybe that house is not going to sell. And after not 3 months, after 30 days or whatever the agreement they have with that seller, they say, we have to reduce the price. You actually want to sell the house, right? There's also the scenario that some people don't want to sell their house. They just want to see what they could get for it. So let's say me, if I want to sell my house, but I don't really want to sell it, but I think, okay, if I get $1 million, maybe I'll think about selling it. So I'll call an agent. It doesn't happen very often. It's about, I think statistics, it's between 3 and 5% that this does happen. And it has happened to me. I've been on a listing. I had I had multiple offers. I had 2 buyers waiting. We were there at the table. my seller says to me, I've changed my mind. I don't want to sell my house anymore.
What?
So this was about, I want to say 6 years ago. And she still hasn't sold her house. She's put it on the market several times since I tried to sell it. I was the only one. She had an agent before that. There's red flags with clients too, but you know, that's a whole other episode. Yeah. But anyway, like there's all these scenarios that, you know, ultimately when I'm working with a client, I tell you everything that I know, good and bad, unfortunately. And, you know, if there's other costs involved, but that's the weird thing about real estate. I don't get paid till I sell the house.
That's
so
right.
with that lady who changed her mind, I didn't get paid for all that work. I staged it, took photos, did printouts, advertised, nothing. So, but you know what? It's okay. It's water under the bridge. You know,
well, that is all, like, you know, everybody that works like that, even myself as well, you know, sometimes I engage clients, I work with them, and spend a lot of time with them, and they don't become clients, right? So that is kind of like the risk that we take.
Of course.
But, you know, we want to tell you that we're here to give you the best advice possible for you to have, either to have a good financial plan, whether it's to buy a house, retire, pay your debt, anything like that, or to just buy a property. And you know what, if you're a first home buyer or a foreign investor, you need to have somebody that has eyes on the property and somebody that is knowledgeable about it, because if you're going to have a surprise that is going to cost you a lot of money, maintaining a property is costly.
Right.
And you want to buy the best property possible that you can get for the money that you're paying. Remember, we have high prices, so you want to get the best house that you're not going to have to put a roof or, you know, redo the basement or something like that, or the windows. That is a big ticket item.
Right? Just even to say being in the right neighborhood. So this, I just want to say thank you everybody for watching my little presentation. So this is a typical Canadian house, which is a brick house, and it's probably built in, what do you think, like 1800, maybe early 1900s?
I like the little wiggly things there.
The detail on it. So this is a very typical older house, but when you really look closely at it, there's a lot of maintenance to be had on this house. It looks like the chimney is newer. It doesn't look that great, but because it's not the same color as the brick, it was really redone. All of that hedging in the front, that's a lot of labor.
Oh gosh.
Have to get and then even just the little walkway and things like that. So when you're really looking at a house, like, you have to know what kind of maintenance do you want to you know, create in a house like that. Maybe a house is not for you. Maybe a condo that's just in a building is good enough.
Yeah,
you know?
It's all about lifestyle, remember.
Right.
To me, I particularly don't like too much condos for investments. But you know, if I was going to live in there, you know, when I'm a little older, then I might go for a condo, because, you know, I'd rather pay somebody to take care of all the maintenance instead of doing it myself.
Right.
So.
And it's all about the numbers when it comes to actually investing. So Araceli and I are very good with numbers. We both have our spreadsheets.
That's right.
And we offer with our clients. And sorry, the last thing I want to say is maple syrup. Don't forget, if you live in Canada, you have to know and you have to like maple syrup.
Who doesn't like maple syrup?
I don't know, but get ready. You're going to have to eat some maple syrup.
Yeah, it's delicious if you haven't tried it.
Yeah, so that's just my little joke. So I'm going to finish my little joke off. But I'm going to try and stop sharing my screen in a second, but my mouse doesn't want to work. Okay, there we go. Okay, so stop share. There we are. We're
Perfect.
back.
Oh, so this was actually absolutely awesome. Just remember that everything comes back to money, right?
Money.
And we do have.
We should have cash money.
I know.
Some like.
We have so far a great and very healthy market here in Canada. If you are able to buy, it would be a great investment. Of course, you know, we can never guarantee what the results are going to be, but because of the demand of a lot of immigration coming in, there's always a huge demand for having a place to live. So, and if you are in the GTA, you can see that everywhere you go, there is a new development going on. So that can tell you what the demand is. And therefore, if there is demand, there is always going to be a good appreciation in the property. So that's kind of like my 2 cents worth of what I think about the market in Canada.
Yeah.
And now, if you don't have enough down payment, come and talk to me and let's put a plan together to come up with the down payment.
Right. Exactly.
And continue to, look for ways to get yourself into real estate. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's it. Like finances is bigger than just, saying, okay, real estate is a goal for your finances. So if you say, okay, even if you are in Canada and one of your goals is to buy something in Canada, talk to Araceli. She can really put you on the right path, because this is the thing. With our spending, with our, takeout, with all these small things that we're doing on a daily basis, I look at my finances and go, oh my God, this is crazy. What am I doing? But it's after the fact. Like, I've already gone to, oh my God, Amazon. I'm sitting in front of my computer all day. Of course, I'm going to go, online shopping and take a look at stuff. And this is something that I got to cut that out. Like,
well, the thing is, I think sometimes the system doesn't help you because everything is so accessible. Now we have the computer, the internet, Amazon, credit cards. It's just so convenient for me to go there. Oh yeah, I like that. Okay, let's buy it.
Right.
And then it's after the fact. Believe me, there is about 80 to 90% of people that do that. And you have to stop and think that the money in the credit card is not free money.
Right.
It's money that you should have. You should back up your credit card with money.
Right.
Credit card is a convenience and it's not extra money. So
no. Well, yes, that's right. And even though we have credit cards that have like a little bit of incentive, you get free groceries or free, whatever Visa.
Something, points,
yeah, points and things like that. That's really great. But still, at the end of the day, you have to cover that nut and make sure that you're earning that much and more. So you can put a little bit aside every month. So that's something Araceli she will help you with. She'll put together a plan for you that you're comfortable with. Don't be afraid. I always think people are afraid to talk to you because they think, oh, you're going to, it's like you're the gym trainer, you're that physical trainer where you're going to be like 7 more push-ups, put in $10 more a month. But if you're not comfortable doing it.
No, I don't do that. In the end, it's all about what do you want, right? And what people are willing to get it. And the same, if you're 300 pounds and you really want to lose weight, you're going to try to do whatever you can to get there, right?
That's right.
It's the same thing. If you are wanting to buy a property, what are you willing to sacrifice in order to have that? So it's just about a balance in place, right? Because remember, the key of finances is you got to spend less than what you make. That is so simple. But you know what? It's many, many cases that I keep running into that the spending is huge. And if you see the news, Canadians in average are spending $1.77 for every dollar that comes into the home. That is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
So, and you just have to be aware and remember, like, the inflation is creeping up on us big time because the inflation on homes alone is crazy. And if you go see food, everything is so much more expensive now.
Right.
I'm very quickly.
What? We didn't even talk about land transfer tax. So this is something that we have something called land transfer. So this is with closing costs. This is something else that people should be aware of with, there is something called land transfer tax. So when you transfer one property to another person's name, there is this special tax. In Toronto, it's almost double. So they have a municipal land transfer tax and a provincial land transfer tax.
Why is that? Why is it so much more expensive?
where's my little money, cha-ching, 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 because the city has to pay for infrastructure, like the roads, like subways, like all these things that, you know, we love, like sewage. So to make sure the poop goes away, so we have to pay for all that stuff, and that's how they charge us for it. They put it within this budget, the city budget, and part of the city budget is to, you know, charge people land transfer tax. It's a one-time tax. When you exchange properties, the property exchanges hands, but it's only in Toronto. So as soon as you jump the border to Mississauga or you know, outside, or York or Pickering, or any of these cities that are still GTA. So I don't know how to explain GTA. So you have this big circle. Toronto is in the center. Then you have, you know, the area, the Greater Toronto area, which is the surrounding cities and boroughs around. I don't even know if boroughs is a thing. But like in New York, you know, you have all these boroughs, and that's how they separate to say, oh, do you live here or do you live there?
Yeah.
So with the GTA, even though you're in Mississauga, it's a whole separate big city. I live in Mississauga. Yeah. It's a very big city. The airport is actually in Mississauga. So it's not, even though it's called the Toronto Airport, it's not in Toronto. So things like that. If you want to be close to the airport because you're a foreign investor, then you want to be maybe an hour outside. That is not just Toronto. That can be in many different cities. So things like that. If you need explanation, if you want more information about that, please talk to me. It's a free phone call. It's a free Skype call or call. You know, I'm happy to talk to whoever is interested and give more information always. Even if you're in Canada, you know someone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So because things change so much. Well, thank you so much, Colette, for presenting this, because this was one of the questions that came up. And we're always happy to try to give you information about the questions that come in. So
absolutely,
please
ask away.
Keep sending questions. Any concerns, anything that you want us to talk about specifically, and we will be here next time. Yay! So with that alone, we'll see you next week with another tidbit on real estate investing and finances. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Araceli. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.